Hi guys! In this video I'm going to share my experience and advice about running your own art and illustration business on Etsy. After running my shops there for around 3 years, I will share with you how I grew a business using the platform, where the traffic leading to sales comes from, and how you can start your own shop really fast with basically no investment. I will cover some very important things to consider that I've learned from my own experience over the years, some pros and cons, and how you will know when it's a good time to leave Etsy for your own shop, as I did. So to start, I've been using Etsy for almost 3 years now, mainly for my handmade jewelry brand called Malaforma. For those of you that are new to this channel, I'm a digital illustrator and my jewelry brand was what allowed me to quit my day job and become a full-time illustrator. I did a video about it and I will link it below. My jewelry is 100% handmade and hand-painted, that's why I consider it an art piece. I've been asked a lot about how to start selling your art, and Etsy always comes to my mind. For me, it's the perfect way to start your own thing, as it's super easy. Also, I noticed that when you're a new shop and a new brand on the market, people tend to trust Etsy more than your own independent shop, and of course, later on, having good reviews is everything. I also had my own Etsy shop for my illustration, art prints and stickers, but I decided to close it after just a few months. The reason why is because at that time I was trying to move Malaforma to its own website, and I realized that most of my traffic and sales were coming from external links like Pinterest and Instagram. So closing Etsy would definitely hurt my sales. It felt like being trapped, and I didn't want the same for my illustration business. Also, as an illustrator, I had to pay for my portfolio website already, so it was just a few bucks more. If you are just starting selling your art, Etsy is great. I know a few established illustrators and artists that still have an Etsy store. I'm not sure why, but it might be working very well for them. Before you start, the only thing you need to have is just an idea of the products, really good photos or great mockups, a catchy product title and some good tags to start selling. Also, if you don't have an initial budget, for example to buy prints in quantities or have enough time to go to the printers every day because you work all day or study, but you still want to grow your passion into a business, you can always connect the store with a print-on-demand service like, for example, Printful. So every time a person places an order, Printful will remember that product, print it and ship it directly to the client without you having to move a finger. I personally don't use this kind of services because I have a printer at my studio, and I like to customize every order. But if I could go back in time to when I started my illustration store, I would rather use this kind of on-demand services instead of having a big stock laying around in my studio that costs a lot of money. It's really important to be social with your products. When you look at my Etsy statistics for my jewelry brand, you can see that most of my traffic is not coming from Etsy search, but from the external sources, and that's something that many artists I talked with and myself have in common. From my experience, I would say not to invest in Etsy ads. I paid for Etsy ads a few times, but to give you an example, whenever I invested 10 euros, I would receive only 10 euros worth of sales, so the conversion wasn't the best, to say the least. The subscription code Plus that they offer was also not convincing and kind of expensive compared to what you can get for that price having your own domain. Not many people know this, but since the end of 2017, I think, Etsy will show you the products from creators that are closest to you geographically. Meaning that if you live, for example, in France, they will show you first items that are close by instead of from a US creator. For me, it resulted in a visible drop in sales because most of my clients are from the US and Canada, and I'm based in Europe. Also, about 2 years ago, Etsy started pushing shops to offer free shipping, and of course I couldn't do that because it's super expensive. They have been advising creators to include the shipping cost in the item price, which will result in you having to pay more taxes. They were already charging commission over the shipping cost, which is something out of your control. Per my understanding, because of an Etsy official conference I went to, is that if you offered free shipping for products over $35, those would be shown to clients in the US. This was one of the main reasons why mid-2019 I decided to move Malaforma to its own shop, leave Etsy open, and thanks to that I was able to offer more attractive prices in my own shop under malaforma.com. Running an Etsy shop with a big volume of sales will be, in my experience, very expensive because of high transaction fees, constant item renewal costs after it's sold, and other fees that you won't have with a shop under your own domain. Etsy charges you 20 cents per listing, 5% over every item sold, plus 4% for using their payment method Etsy Payments. So at the end of the day, if, for example, you sell 1,000 euros worth of goods, Etsy will get around 100 euros cut at least. With that, you can already pay your own Squarespace, full e-commerce plan, or even Shopify and save some money. But of course, for that you have to have steady sales. In short, in my opinion, Etsy is absolutely great when you are starting. It's quick and easy, but be mindful that the longer you go, the more you grow, you will pay higher commissions and transaction fees. You might feel trapped in the platform because you don't want to lose all those amazing reviews, all those sales and stars on your profile. But if by that time you have your own site, you will be earning more and having more control. As always, everything I shared in this video is my opinion based on my experience, and I hope it's useful. See you in the next video. Bye bye!